Yes.
Hey, welcome back to Wild Speculation. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
We're going to change the way we do things a little bit tonight. So, if it doesn't work, it's because we're still working on it.
It's a work in progress.
Lots of changes coming. Because I'm moving. Yeah. Anyway. We want to start tonight with 4.
Yes.
Because we had the least, would you say?
He's around the least, yeah. Big thing for him, he's hearing the patron's voice while he's swimming through the...
Yeah, that was cool. It makes me wonder how much... I don't know, I guess I like the fact that he puts that in there in both stressful times and calm times.
Yeah.
And also, I think after the way that they acted in Zadash, wanting to get out and not have anything to do with the Empire, I think he's decided that he's got a way to pull them along. And the patron is one of those ways.
He's got a couple of things he can do.
At least that's how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
Is Matt going, no, you guys need to just go and do this. Kind of a thing. We did see some darker sides of Ford, though.
We did.
Almost right out the gate, he's threatening Callie.
Yeah. Threatens Callie.
Although it was funny, he's like, dude, we should have a release. Which made me think of Acquisition Incorporated, C-Team, because they have...
I need to start watching that so I understand where you're coming from on these.
He has a position in their team called Documancer, and the Documancer carries around contracts and everything. So
it'd be Jester.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, I thought it was weird that he was like, she was like, oh, cats don't like me. Oh, we're going to get along. And then he proceeds to threaten her. For it, I don't know. Because when Mark, the guest, initially described, he said, a feminine looking character. And then the first time after Mark comes on, that Matt replies to the insight, he uses the term it 3 times before he starts using the feminine pronouns.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it seems genuine. And he kept correcting himself to the her. So I'm wondering if that's another one of those like the Crown's Guard Bryce, where it's just that gender fluid that we're seeing more of. I thought it was neat, but I noticed that the first couple of times Matt referenced a pronoun, it was it, they.
Well, the first that might have been
after Mark came in, the first couple that.
But he hadn't quite established. They hadn't introduced each other yet. I don't think maybe.
No,
I mean I don't remember the pronoun use, so I could be wrong.
This is after he says you see a feminine-looking character,
a
feminine-looking individual, and that whole time he's saying. Mark was saying they, a feminine who has this and didn't really specify. It wasn't until after that state that it wasn't until later. The initial ones, they were all very gender neutral, the pronoun game kind of thing.
He continues to lead from the rear.
Yeah.
He's still. Hey, you make this test. You make this test. You do that. Why don't you do that? Even though he's got the stats and skills for it. I think it's just. And I'm wondering if that's Travis.
I think
Or
a
if
lot
it's
of it
Ford.
is. I think a lot of it is Travis not wanting to hog the spotlight, but I also think part of it is Ford, and as we've said before,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be out there because he doesn't
Yeah.
want to be the one looked at.
Yeah.
Especially the teeth grinding and
Yeah, and he probably thinks the half-orc being the face of the Mighty Nine is not what they need.
right. So he's very conscious of all of that as Ford.
Yeah.
But then again, he has unlimited uses of disguise self.
Yeah.
So he could be the half elf of the Mighty Nine.
That's true.
Or the high elf.
Yeah.
Um,
The only other thing that I have for Travis and Ford in my note was I cast regret.
Yeah, that was great.
Because they were fighting the troll, the poison troll.
Yes, the Venom Troll.
Venom, yeah.
Out of Morning Canaan, we took another dip into that new book. As soon as he started describing it when Bo had snuck up, I was like, I know exactly what it is. I went and grabbed my book, looked it up, and I'm like, yep. And I was going along. I was like, yep, that's what it is.
As they came across the layer, and as Matt started to describe the green skin, I was like, Scott was right. It's a hag. And then I was like, oh wait, nope, not a hag.
Yeah, nope, not a hag.
Made
me a little sad, but once they said troll, I was like, I know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was the Venom Troll. I knew it was out of the new book. Love the fact, and I totally know it. I'm sitting there thinking the whole time as they get there and they're like, start talking about Speak with Dead. I'm like, they're going to be focused on asking questions, and the troll's going to come up, grab the guy, and that's exactly what happened. I was like, I know. Not that I'm comparing myself to Matt, but it's what I would have done as the DM.
Yeah.
That makes me feel justified as a DM.
Yeah. Anything else on Ford?
No. I think we this whole episode was a lot more story plot line building than individual characters.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit in the characters too. Like another glimpse into the patron, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Who do we want to talk about next?
Jester. Why not? Jester, the pastry queen, whose pastries are getting old and nasty, even for Jester.
Yeah. Although she seems to keep not in supply for her cautious hideous laughter. I do like the fact that she basically illuminated that release form.
Yeah.
She got out her colored ink and
make it extra gory.
And did it in pictures rather than just words.
Yeah.
They were kind of channeling Tolkien there, I think.
Yeah.
When Bilbo is going through his contract that the dwarves give him.
Couple of things that hit me with Jester. One, the big one, is later on in the bowl scene. If someone wants to talk to a god, they should be able to.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which god.
Yeah. That for sure. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's an interesting angle to be on.
Yeah.
And I wonder how far she'll take it.
That's what I was wondering as well. The other was, the part with the dropping it. Oh, people who have to live inside all the time can know a lot of things. It's kind of building herself up. Yes, she's talking about herself.
Yeah.
Very much background, but playing into that predestination paradox with her being worried about Ford getting mad that he wouldn't let her cast Cure Wounds before he went through the channel.
Yeah.
Although Yasha got upset with him too, because she's like, "Here, pat yourself off." He's like, "I'd drop the rope and dive in." She's like, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah,
And I was surprised. I mean, in a way, not, but he had just used his relentless endurance, and then he's diving in. And
well, I think they were worried that he was going to cause another fight to start, and I think in Travis's head, he definitely was not going to be doing that.
I think he's lucky that he didn't do that.
Yeah, a little bit.
He wasn't required to make the stealth roll when he's popping into a room with 6 of those things.
Yeah. The advantage that he had, though, like even if something had kicked off, if they had noticed him, he's got such distance that he could have swam back, and they could have set up that kill zone, which is what they were basically going to be doing. And him having a rope or extra hit points isn't going to change with that.
Him having a 15-foot swim speed because it's half your movement, and those were Marrow, so they have a 40-foot swim speed.
I thought they were Kuatoa.
No, Kuatoa aren't the fins on the bottom. I'm pretty sure those were Marrow.
Oh.
Judging by the minis, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were Marrow.
Yeah, you're probably right.
They could have caught him in the channel, and then without the rope, they would have never known what happened.
Yeah.
They would have gone in and ended up being the subject of a kill zone.
Huh. Yeah, see, I was under the impression they were Kuatoa.
Yeah.
But I guess, well, yeah. The other thing that I have for Jester is she keeps asking Caleb questions when he is remote viewing through Frumpkin all the time. And it says, he can't hear you.
Yep. I'm completely deaf.
Now, when I was watching that scene, well, rewatching that scene, because the first time I just laughed. But on the rewatch, I realized Not has message. Nothing in the spell says it has to be a humanoid that you target with that spell.
That's true.
So Not
could
target Frumpkin while he's remote viewing to ask Caleb a question.
Yeah. The only thing is Caleb wouldn't be able to respond.
He can, because he can respond at his meat body.
It's true. Yeah.
So he doesn't
he can't respond through the spell.
Right.
He can respond.
Right. But he's sitting right there with all of them.
That's actually good.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, but yeah, so that's
okay. Next time someone DMs for us, I know what we're doing.
Right. Laura, this episode was much more cognizant of saving her spells for healing.
Yes.
This time. And I don't know if that's because she doesn't have that 300 gold piece diamond. Because I think last episode we saw...
Or is it that she's being berated?
By Twitter?
Because
the players aren't doing it.
You know, I think maybe she's...
Well, the players aren't doing it on stream, I should say. We don't know what happens in their text thread. But I don't get the feeling that they're doing
I don't get the feeling they are. The only one that I think might have been like is Travis. And not trying to be that guy, but just his tactical mind.
Yeah. Well, and hey, you're the only source of healing.
Yeah, you're the only source of healing. We need to have heal.
Like last campaign, they had Scammon in their back pocket.
Yeah. Pike when she was there. Vex had cure wounds.
Yeah.
They had Keyleth had a little bit of healing.
And we've got Jester making really good use of her duplicate this episode.
Yes, very good use. Although I really wanted to see her try this guy's self as a smaller troll and try to befriend it. I really wanted to see that.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked.
But it would have been fun.
Yeah. That's all I have for Jester.
And playing the Mama to Kiri is the only other thing I had.
Yeah, I got worried when she had her on her shoulders.
I did too. That thing jumping through the trees?
Yeah. I was just like, well, I was like one AoE. Yeah. And that little Kenku was going to be gone. Yeah.
Who next?
We're going to save Bo and Caleb for last because they're on Talks tonight.
Plus, they have the biggest things.
That's true. How about not?
Not. Okay. Just a question real quick.
Okay.
When Caleb almost kills Bo because he's going to do 3 Scorching Ray, last minute decides to cast Haste on Not.
Yeah.
Okay. As Matt is describing the spell taking hold on Not, is anyone else picturing Not as the squirrel from Over the Hedge when she drinks the caffeine? That was the image that popped into my head.
Not until now, but yeah, that makes sense. I guess if Sam played her a little more,
yeah,
that probably would be where my mind would have gone. But he plays her so terrified but laid back that I don't think of her so much as hyper.
And see, both of those seem like covers. It almost seems like that's the alcohol. Because before the alcohol became as big a joke as it is, she was very, steal. She was more hyper, more, I'm looking around to steal something. I'm looking around to steal something.
Yeah.
And then they started giving her more and more alcohol, and then she became more and more laid back.
Yeah.
New cure for ADHD. I'm kidding. Do not sue us.
Yeah, no. One of the things that made me kind of laugh is Callie saying, "Are you his daughter?"
Yeah.
Referring to Ford.
Yeah. And they went with it.
Yeah. But she got mad about it real quick.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Which I thought was hilarious. And I look forward to that confusion happening more.
Yes.
And Liam and Sam almost set it up themselves. They foreshadowed it. Because the Mother's Love, he disguised himself as a female half-orc.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was like, that's good. Yeah, the only thing I have for not was I wanted to make sure to talk about that message thing because that's gonna be if they think of that, they figure that out. That's gonna be good.
Also, I think not that the characters were aware, although Caleb did say not found the bowl. They need to start realizing sometimes when they're down on Caleb, not has set him up.
Sure.
I don't think she's trying to set him up, but she is setting him up.
Yeah.
She found the bowl, hid it, gave it to Caleb. Because he knows every spell.
Oh man, that's good. We were right that's gonna be a running thing now.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me wonder, is Caleb going to end up with some sort of a performance anxiety out of it?
I swear this doesn't happen.
Well, no, just like, well, Caleb can do it. And just, is Caleb going to snap at her one day?
Yeah.
And be like, no,
Well,
I can't.
We'll talk more about Caleb in a minute. Because I've got some things about that kind of lead into that. But yeah, that's what I had for now.
Yeah.
We've covered everything I had.
Molly?
Molly continues to use his double-tongued racial traits, this time with friends, although it was successful.
Well, he used friends. He used all of them this episode.
Yeah, he did.
Friends is automatically successful because this gives you advantage on the social test. And then he got one vicious mockery. I think just one.
Yeah. With the plant.
No, the troll.
He did it to the plant too.
Stay down. Oh yeah. So he got two.
But did he do enthrall?
Yes, he tried to do it on the troll, and the troll
resisted.
Yeah, and Matt was like, "That would have worked so good."
Yeah.
So yeah. He's finally gotten frustrated, and I think he's finally at the point where he's not going to bother trying, and he will look for that ranged weapon. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I'm still holding out for mobile. I think that's the...
Well, I think that will be the feat that he takes.
It'll either be that or durable.
In that situation with the troll, mobile probably wouldn't have helped him. I mean, he was so far back. Like, when it was getting away, he could have... Like, he probably wouldn't have been able to keep pace with it. And especially not... If he was, he would be the only one. And that's not where you want to be.
Right.
So it would have been... Like, it would have behooved him not to chase it.
Yeah.
And just use, like, the longbow or the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because he can't, like, bonus action dash.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as helpful. But, like, you know, if he took a 2-level dip into rogue, you know, I'm just saying, if he bonus action dashed, moved, and then had his attacks, the difficult terrain wouldn't slow him down. That would have been 80 feet because he gets plus 10 movement.
Yeah.
It's a powerful feat with the right build.
Yeah. And he also was the one to point out, well, we know where it's going.
Yeah.
I liked the playfulness that he had with Callie when they were basically, well, let's mark this spot so when we come back, we'll know that the thing and we'll hit it on the way back. Now they're going to hit it on the way back because it's worth 100 gold, at least.
Right.
What do you think was moving in there? A young troll or victim?
You know, a part of me wants it to be one of Kiri's parents.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. Well,
if her sisters are gone, one of her parents is gone, the other one is they can save, reunite. Not that I'm not liking Kiri and Matt's impression skills, but it's an NPC. There's going to be a time it's going to need to move on.
Yeah.
It's not going to be around forever.
Yeah. Unless it is, which creates a whole different kind of thing. And
I don't think
she will be with them till her death.
Yeah, it's either going to be to their death, but I don't think there's going to... I just don't think there's going to be that long a thing until they have something like Grayskull Keep, and Kiri could be a Jareth.
Well, I mean, nothing would motivate them more to lay down roots than this.
Yeah.
Also, because right now they haven't had the inclination to it. They, especially with Molly's influence.
Right.
Molly wants to keep on the move as long and as much as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They should have just all folded into the circus and taken over the circus.
Yeah.
Then they'd have all the NPC meat shields.
Who next?
Yasha?
Talk about
Yasha. So one big thing, one thing that stood out, not big, we kind of could have assumed this because we found out she couldn't read. She can't count. Well, there's one of them and however many there are of us.
Well, I think that was more of a call out to the fact that someone mentioned, well, there was 9 of us now.
I think it was the pause that she did
even,
as she was saying it is what made me think she didn't know how many of them there were. She couldn't count that high.
Maybe, but most people, even if they don't have very, very good math skills, can count to 10. 20 if they take off their shoes.
We won't go further with that joke.
My sadness in the fight with the fish people for Yasha was like they're moving and then readying their action to attack. For the Sentinels, don't do that. Just get in and block. And if she had dash as her action and gotten up right on the edge of Hunger of Hadar, she would have been in a position that Bo and Yasha probably would have killed that.
Yeah.
That one. But not that I'm side seat driving with you, but I was just like, oh.
So were you a little surprised that a 13 was all it took to destroy that bull? No? Maybe I'm...
Sending is a 3rd level spell. Okay.
I was just thinking...
DC is 10 plus the level.
The way they were talking about it, I just figured it was going to be more powerful, harder to destroy.
If it was some sort of a summoning thing, then right. Yeah. But I think because it was only a communications device,
okay.
I think
yeah.
Matt just said it as basically a 3rd level spell.
Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense. But for just some reason, it just the way that it's a whole subplot, I was just expecting it to be a higher DC.
Yeah, I mean, the way he was narrating it, I was like, I wasn't sure how it was gonna go, but when she rolled a 13, I was like, maybe.
I was like, nope, and he's like, yeah, that's. I was like, oh crap.
Well, and also I think it's because
I was expecting a 15 or a 16.
Well, I think the reason why, and maybe that would have been his original idea to get rid of it, if she was going to use Magician's Judge just to cast the spell magic. But because she was striking it as she was casting it,
yeah,
because when he's describing it,
and that's why I was
like in the fraction of a second,
yeah,
that the magic is not there, you shatter the bowl.
Yeah.
Plus, I think he was surprised she went there.
Yeah.
And Matt is one of those DMs that when the player does that, he rewards them.
Yeah.
And she rolled decent enough on the die.
See, and
it's a cool thing.
Wasn't surprised at all she went there.
I was.
The first moment they got in there and he was talking about destroying it, Callie I was like, they're going to use Magician's Judge. They've got a sword that dispels magic.
Oh, yeah.
I assumed they were going to at least try. I didn't know it was going to be successful, but I assumed that they were going to try it right off the bat.
Yeah. I think I probably had a thought similar to that, but I was surprised that she went there.
Yeah.
And it was funny that it was like, Yasha, why don't you throw it against the wall? And then like at that moment, she's like, I think that's when she's like,
I think that's when
sword.
she thought of it.
Yeah.
But back when Callie was saying, I'm looking for this so I can destroy it or hide it from them, I'm like, they're going to use Magician's Judge. So.
It is an interesting way to start getting rid of magic items.
Yeah.
Which actually oh man. So here's the scenario that Matt might use later.
Okay.
He tells Caleb, because Caleb inevitably will have detect magic on at some point, going into a fight or what have you. But the bad guy has a very powerful magic item. And say it's a weapon or a staff or something, and he's wrecking them with it. Yasha has the choice now to attack that with Dispel Magic.
Yeah.
And break it, or they try to kill the guy and capture it. So it's like that creates now this interesting dynamic now in their magic items and fights. And it's not going to work every time because she's got to roll the d20.
Yeah.
But that creates an interesting tension on that.
That almost makes me wish she had taken the Path of the Juggernaut from Tal'Dorei, so that she basically becomes siege, and when she attacks objects.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make her make an attack roll damage.
Right.
So.
But if we're gonna go that to where she's attacking the bad guy's weapon, magical, that would have been fun to see.
Caleb or Bo? Because we're halfway through our time.
Well, I think we need to just kind of talk about both of them together, because most of it is them together for dealing with that confrontation. Well, their teamwork and their confrontation, unless you have something specific outside of that for either of them.
No.
I mean, the first thing we have is their teamwork, and we get the Bohemian. Whereas instead of Yasha getting embiggened, he enlarges Bo.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting.
That was neat. Then of course he was all my good friend. She's like, "Why you gotta call me good friend?" Okay, my work acquaintance.
A lot of meta aggression in the latter half of the episode.
Yeah.
Because of that, I will cast Scorching Ray. Bo's already at 0 hit points. That's gonna kill her. And then, like, what horrified me is he seemed to realize it, and he's like, "Okay, I won't cast that. I'll cast Magic Missile that's guaranteed to hit and do damage." I was like, no.
Okay, I'm not sure that it was meta because of that. She's already had very little patience for Caleb, and yes, now she knows about his past. She and Nod are the only two in the group.
Yeah.
But in what I've seen, it almost has made her less patient with him.
Yeah.
One thing, real quick, I'm going to go back because I do have one thing about Bo that isn't Caleb related.
Okay. And
this is actually, I don't know if it'll make it on the show, but this is a question I put out for talks tonight.
Oh, okay.
Callie asked about scary people with dragon masks. Do you work for them? She says she worked for some people in dragon masks years ago, but it wasn't creepy. So, was that backstory built in, or is that one of those instances where a quick comment then defines the character? And even either way, when did she work for people with dragon masks?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say that was almost more like her trying to befriend Callie. Because Not also made the comment, we work for creepy people, but they don't wear masks. And
right.
They were basically all talking on top of each other. So I think
that is true, and that's how I took it at first. But on my rewatch, I was like, wait a minute, because we know that she's got the criminal background. We know she's done shady stuff. We know she's pretty much been handed things in her life. Her dad paid for her to be taken by people, so she's from wealth to some degree, at least upper middle class.
Yeah.
Could she have some kind of tie to some weird thing?
Maybe. Which gets to what I wanted to talk about when we get into the story.
Yeah, me too. But I just wanted to hit that real quick because that comment on my rewatch, I was like, maybe there's more than just, because at first I took it like the pastry comment. Oh, you always eat pastries. And then it became a whole thing.
Yeah.
But second watch, I wasn't as sure. One thing I noticed about Caleb in the confrontation, so Caleb pulls a Caleb, he's sure he's right, he's positive he's right, he's got to do it this way, this is the way to do things, which I think is part of Trent's mental training still holding on.
Yeah. Well, Caleb definitely has the...
if you notice, when Bo has confronted him, especially because whenever they confront him, like Bo has done it, Molly has done it, Ford has done it, where they confront him not just verbally, but with a show of force.
Yeah.
And he gets upset, but he backs down. He cowers. Caleb is afraid of being right. Caleb thinks the worst. He's afraid he's right because when he was sure he was right, he killed his family and it was wrong. So every time he is confronted like that, he's going to get upset, but he's going to back down.
Yeah.
Because he's afraid of being right.
Yeah.
That's something that I clicked in my head when I watched that confrontation.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Good catch.
So.
My two biggest notes for both of them are in the humor department. Bo both trying to wingman and cock block at the same time.
Yes. I'll go. Wait, no, wait. What?
Yeah. And her, like, I got blackmail material on you. It's like, yeah, that's why he's going to be willing to let you die.
Yeah.
Like, you don't bring that up to try to convince somebody.
That statement? Yeah.
Yeah. And Caleb, I think Liam has found Caleb's comedic voice.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a hint of it here and there the last two episodes, but this episode we really laid into it, which is that dry delivery.
I loved it. Well, that's one out of I'm sure we're good now. Oh no, Mr. Caleb, there's gonna be... Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard at that scene.
Yeah. And it's always good when you have a guest who will do that for you. So we both said we have a lot story-wise that we wanted to talk about.
Real quick, I want to ask your opinion.
Okay.
The confrontation, Bo and Caleb. Who was right and why?
Caleb was right. He correctly identified the problem what the problem was, and he correctly identified a solution to that problem, and presented it to everybody. Like, he did everything that Bo was pissed off at him for saying that he didn't do. He did.
So, and here's the one, I agree that Caleb was right in the overall. Here's the thing, his delivery and his presentation was wrong. He's just like, do it this way. This is how it's going to be. He doesn't say, hey guys, there's this. I think we need to do it this way. He came more as a dictator than, hey, there's an issue and I have a solution. And I think that's why she got upset, because he was just like, this is how it's got to be. No choice.
She was pissed off that he kept them. Like, for her, him keeping that bowl was the same as him keeping that glove. Except
for the fact that they were like, oh, you got the bowl. No, not found it.
That passed right over them.
But,
and they, like, he could have been lying. But whether it's true or not, he had it, and she was looking for it, and she was going to give up and leave.
Yeah.
Before he was like, here it is. It's very powerful. So, like, I think for Marisha, for Bo, that's the exact same as him hogging that glove. It's him going after that scroll case. It's all the same kind of thing for her.
The other thing I wanted to say about that is, with Bo, Caleb's intentions, we differ, I don't agree with his presentation of it. But Caleb's intentions were what's best for the group. Help the group. Which is the last time she confronted him, what she was pissed about was him doing his own selfish thing, not for the group. So it was almost a 180 on why she was mad.
So we've had a back and forth about who's going to be the moral compass of the group.
Right.
And we've gone back and forth over Ford and Molly. I think Caleb might end up being, in the grand scheme of things, because only he understands the consequences of some of the shit that they're getting into now. Because
I can see that in the grand scheme, but Caleb has got a lot of growing up to do before he gets to a point. Because Caleb is still like that 3-year-old, it's my way or I'm going to throw a fit.
No, I think that comes from, I think that's what he's channeling, Caleb's 20 intelligence. Caleb knows what to do. He understands. When he has a plan,
it's exactly it.
Caleb knows what to do always.
If you disagree, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And he's throwing a fit.
Yeah, but thus far he hasn't been wrong. Well,
again, other than his presentations.
And like what's interesting is, because that's why when Callie was like, no, Caleb's right.
No, I really like that Callie stood up for him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no. Caleb was right. And he was right to be pissed off.
I think Bo was right in that he is doing it out of the wrong reasons. He is coming to these conclusions, It's like you can come to the right conclusion for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And he probably should have put it to a vote of the group.
He should have presented it like, here's a problem, here's a solution. He should have presented it a lot earlier.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. And Callie was ultimately the one that gave him what he needed.
Right.
Because he needed to make sure that this wasn't going to fall into their hands.
Yes.
And that she was on the level. Now, I think if I were the DM, I would have rolled her resistance
Okay.
or still made the roll take place. And you don't have to tell anyone what the result is.
Yeah, so that it's whether, hey, is this being compulsed or is this freely given? Yeah. So we got about 15 minutes before talk, so let's get on to the story.
Yeah.
I know Matt Holmes or Mark Holmes named Calliana, but we've got Callie, we've got Carrie, we've got Callie. Do you think this is like payback for Vex and Vax?
Maybe. Maybe. So most of my story things have to do with Callie, which is why I'm using her picture right now.
Okay.
So right off the bat, she asked about the dragon masks in a roundabout way to gauge them.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions the scale tyrant.
Yes.
She mentions she's from Port Damali.
Yes.
Which means Port Damali is infested with Tiamat cultists.
Yes.
Which is where their job was to go.
Yes.
To collect that guardsman.
Yep.
So, I also made some notes about her spell list, but that doesn't matter at this point.
She's a recovered cultist background.
Yes.
Yeah. Out of the Tal'Dorei handbook. I love it. It's one of my favorite backgrounds. It's one of the mechanically weakest, I think. It doesn't give you as much stuff.
Yeah.
You get 2 skills and 1 language, rather than 2 skills and 2 things.
And the feature you more readily like sniff out cult activity, right?
Yeah. Which is only going to be good if there's cult activity, or if that's a thing for the storyline.
Yeah.
But flavor-wise, history-wise, I love it.
Yeah. And the flavoring of the draconic sorcery was interesting. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it done that way.
No, I never have.
But her coming in, I was like, oh my god. I immediately thought of Archon.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought when I was watching it on Thursday was, is Archon going to be in Port Damali? Is he going to be the big bad that they have to face?
It's a little early for him to be.
Right? Yeah. Well,
just a few levels.
Yeah. So, but over the weekend they had the Stream of Many Eyes.
Right.
And they had Talks Machnia.
Yep.
And Grog and Archon get summoned to the Shadow Step by the Raven Queen. Because Vecna.
I need to find that and watch that because I want to see one Grog's reaction to the Raven Queen because she has.
They didn't actually meet her.
Oh, okay. And 2, his reaction to Archon.
It was pretty good.
After Vecna.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good, but it was short.
But regardless, that's not what we're here for.
But one of the things that Mike Merles did,
okay,
when he was introducing everybody, was saying where they're from and what they had been doing prior to showing up here. Archon was in the Abyss, serving Teamen.
Yeah, we may see Archon show up.
And he still has the hand of Vecna.
So here's the question. Will we see Archon show up, or will we see Joe come in with a more level-appropriate other NPC that Archon sends? Like Archon's right-hand man, his lackey.
I don't know.
Because Archon's too important to be bothered with these.
That's true.
4th level nobodies.
So yeah, I almost don't want him to make a character connected to Archon if he does guest star again.
True.
And I think if he comes back, well, okay, I was gonna say I don't think he'll be playing a paladin. He may be all like full barbarian. Like that would be cool to have him come on as someone connected to Yasha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if he wants to play the same build he has with Archon, the paladin barbarian, that connecting him to the Stormlord and Yasha.
Yeah.
Would be a nice end. And would have a different energy at the table, I think.
Yeah.
So it could be funny.
One thing, and it kind of feeds into our overarching theory, we've got Teamen. We've got another of the betrayer gods working stuff. And we've been saying we're going to see different betrayer gods. We're going to be seeing them do stuff. Maybe Forge Patron is working for them. Maybe the Traveler is before we connected it to Garmelli, which still he could be just for, shits and giggles.
No, I think Garmelli is the history rhymes but doesn't necessarily repeat.
Yeah.
But all of this has happened before, all this will happen again. Garmelli might be the change.
Yeah. But I just felt like that whole introducing that and, stuff, the bowl, I thought, okay, maybe this is another vestige, which is one of the reasons I was surprised the 13.
Yeah.
Because he says there's more vestiges than what's in the Tal'Dorei book.
Yeah.
So I was, but I was just going through and thinking that, that I was like, yes, this is just leading in for the Chained Oblivion because, it was the rust of the betrayer gods that summoned it and sent it out.
Yep.
So are they working now that the chains are loosened from the trammels?
Yep.
So that was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
I was more fuel for our theory.
Yeah. And Mike Merles, in his introduction, purposefully or not, gave evidence for it. So you really should watch it.
I need to find that and watch that.
Because he talks about the chains weakening, even on Vecna. So, yeah.
Yeah. Called it!
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that's just because he wanted to use Vecna because he was connected to both Archon and Grog. I don't know. And I don't know how much he's talked to Matt. But, like, everything, I was just like, I'm taking this off. So, the other thing that we've talked about, the Empire versus the Underworld, and how they have sided with the Underworld at the moment.
Okay.
Gentlemen taking jobs from the cult of Tiamat.
So
that's his hiding spot. The cult paid him to get them the artifact.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into, I had this shorter arc revelation. This is the second time they've gone to some place connected with the gentleman on behalf of the gentleman. I found skeletons manacled.
Well, this time I don't think it was the gentleman.
It was his place.
Yeah, well, those were the Marrow, though, if they were Marrow.
Or were those people the gentleman had in chains? That's just easier food for the Marrow.
No.
So you think the Marrow chained them?
Yeah.
I don't. I think the gentleman is a slave trader.
Okay. Yes. He probably is.
The next place they go for the gentleman, we'll find out.
We will. If they do any more jobs for him, because I think...
Well, they're doing at least one more.
Yes. And that job was actually at the safe house. The request for that job,
Yeah.
they need at least 4 people to go up there. That's what that letter basically said.
Yeah.
That they got out of it. So, yeah, it's a question of. I don't think Caleb is going to want to do any more jobs for the gentleman.
Yeah.
Especially whatever happens up north or northeast.
Mm-hmm.
Shady Bend.
Yeah.
I don't. Because I have a feeling whatever they're going to do there is going to be in some way connected to some of the other evil stuff that's going on.
Right.
And I mean, I mentioned a while ago that this campaign, they're going to be doing everything wrong. They're going to be doing all this stuff to help the bad guys. And it's going to get to the point where one of them finally realizes it.
Yeah.
And they, oh crap. And I think they're close to that, and I think Caleb is the closest one to that switch. And it's because of Callie. And I think, I kind of hope we do kind of see her again.
I do too. I think we will. And this is a wild speculation. That's my reasoning why.
Okay.
When they first meet and they're talking in the bar, so it's like, you got a wing under there too? She's like, no wings. I'm like, wait till 14th level. She's coming back. Look, I got the wings.
Yeah, I also thought something similar. That's why I was like, yeah, not yet. Yet.
So,
yeah.
Just to pick up on that little off comment.
So, last thing I want to touch on, and it does actually get to what we were just talking about good and evil.
Okay.
And which side the Mighty Nine are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Travis was excited, has been excited going into the swamp once he heard that they were howls.
Yeah.
He wants those werewolves.
Oh yeah. Do you see how excited they get every time I met? Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Well, he's talking about how the bodies have teeth marks.
Yeah.
And claw marks. And he's like, and he looks over. He's like, mm-hmm. The werewolves were the good guys in the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
They were trapped there.
Yep.
What if the werewolves are trying to clean up that swamp? And he's taking a look at the werewolves like the Forsaken in the New World of Darkness.
Okay.
Where they are the good guys trying to protect the world.
I like that.
And they've been excited to fight them. But now they have this thing. So what if the werewolves are hunting the trolls?
Yeah.
And whatever else is out there. That's where my brain is going now. Okay. Because I kind of want to. If Garmelli is the traveler, and if these werewolves are from the Feywild,
yeah, well,
that this is the opportunity Matt's going to have to lay that out.
I think that. Okay, let me revise. Just as Garmelli is an aspect and a persona that Artagon puts on, so is the traveler.
Yeah.
So yes, they are the same person, but they're just different aspects of Artagon.
Yeah.
Which I find hilarious that Laura, new character, is serving the one whose desire was to choke out her last character's brother.
Yeah, that is funny.
So, and although I even kind of wonder, does Laura know it's Garmelli?
No, I don't think she does.
Right. And I can't wait to see her face when she finds out.
That is going to be good. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Last week's episode and this week's episode probably going to go up on YouTube tomorrow or Thursday. because I haven't gotten mastered stuff yet because I've been busy, getting ready to move. But we will see you next week, either from his place or my new place.
I
Almost
guess.
Thursday.